In this video as well as the next, we will be looking at how to rearrange straight lines into the specific general forms that we are asked to present them in. Those two forms are, first of all, y equals to mx plus c, and then there's another one which is ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Both of these videos, which deal with rearranging straight lines, assume that you have mastered the prior knowledge that is necessary for you to get to this point. That knowledge that we are assuming that you know is that you have the basics of algebra down, and specifically you know how to solve equations. If that is a topic that you are not fully sure about, or you haven't mastered that skill and that knowledge, there is a chance that you might find this video a bit difficult. If that is the case, and if you feel that even after watching these two videos you have difficulty in rearranging the straight lines, then please do let me know, and then I will make you another video that deals with solving equations. Okay, so for this video we will start with part 1, which is rearranging straight lines into the general form of y equals to mx plus c. So when we talk about a y equals mx plus c, when a straight line is presented in that form, just keep in mind, and this is very important, that our m represents the gradient. We mentioned the gradient a little bit earlier on, and then the c represents the y-intercept, meaning where your straight line cuts the y-axis. Okay? So, moving on. We're going to just really just jump straight into this. But let me first change my color. Okay, let's pick that one. Okay, so it says, first question, write these lines in the form y equals to mx plus c. You can see that it's actually not already written that way, so we want to rewrite them. Before I start, however, what does rewriting this equation in this form that we want mean? It means that you want to make y the subject. You want to keep y on its own on one side, and you want it to be positive, and you want it to be 1y, okay? So let's look at the equation that we have here. We have 10x minus 5y plus 1 equals to 0. We first look at our y. That is what we care about. We look at it and we can see that it's a negative. We don't want that. We want our y to be positive. So one way to do this is to just kick it to the other side. But remember, with our equations, when something moves to the other side, it changes its sign. So from a minus, it will become a plus. So I've moved it to become 5y, positive y. And then you just keep everything else where it was without changing its sign, right? So at this point, if you want, okay, you can flip both sides. When you switch both sides automatically at the same time, so everything changes sides, then you don't have to change their signs. But I'm just going to keep it here just in case you haven't mastered that skill, and that might be a bit more complicated for you. And I'll do the flipping at the end for this video. So we're looking for one y, one positive y. It's positive, that's great. Now we're moving on to the next step, which is making it 1y. So we have 5y, which is 5 times y. Which number do I have to divide 5 with to make 1? 5 divided by 5. So any number divided by itself makes 1. But remember, because it's an equation, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side, which means if I'm dividing that side by 5, I have to do it for this one here. Okay? So we have 5y over 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So those get eliminated, and you're left with a y. So you have 10x plus 1 over 5. At this point, I'm going to flip the two sides at the same time. Remember, we said that when you flip them both at the same time and you flip everything, you don't have to change the signs. So y goes to the other side, and then we have 10x plus 1 over 5. Okay? So there's a little bit extra that I want you to do at this point. As you can see here, when we said y equals to 10x plus 1 over 5, 5 is their common denominator, meaning that they every term on the top has 5 as a denominator, which means that you can rewrite it in the form of 10x over 5 plus 1 over 5. Then we can move on to simplify. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 2x plus 1/5. And here you have it. You have it in the form of 1 positive y equals to 2x plus 1/5. Okay? Where 2 is our gradient and 1/5 is our y-intercept. So there you have it. You've put that in that form. Okay, let's move on. Okay, again, well, it should have been this line in the form of y equals to mx plus c. Okay, so again, we focus on our y. Again, it's a negative. You can kick it to the other side to make it positive. By the way, for those of you who, the reason why I'm kicking it and I want to make it positive, it's because it can be easier for people who don't feel very comfortable with equations at this point. Because there is another way. You can actually leave it on that side, leave it as a negative, take everything else on the other side. And then when it comes to dividing, I don't know if for those of you who can follow, for those of you who know this, you know that you can divide both sides with a negative number at the end, and a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. So you will end up at the end with a positive y. But for those of you who don't feel confident still with solving equations, that's why I'm just going to make it positive, because it makes it much easier. So minus for y goes to the other side, becomes a positive for y. Remember, we want to keep it on its own, which is why everything else will be just left there as it was. At this point, I want you to start getting used to flipping your equation earlier on. Remember, we said when you flip everything at the same time, so both sides at the same time, you don't have to change the signs. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So 4y equals to 2x plus 5. It's easier to just have y or your subject that you care about in that instance on your left. Okay, great, it's positive now, but we want 1y. So remember, we can do that by dividing any number by itself in order to get 1. So 4 divided by 4 makes 1. But it's an equation, so if you're going to do it on one side, you have to do it on the other side. So there we go. Then 4 divided by 4 makes 1, so those get eliminated. And then you have y equals to 2x plus 5 over 4. Remember, they have the same denominator, which means that you can rewrite this in the form of 2x over 4 plus 5 over 4. Okay. It's always best to simplify things as much as possible. Be very careful if your question is asking you to simplify your answer fully, okay? Because that means it's definitely required. If it's not specifically asked, sometimes we assume that you have to do it in any case. Some teachers might, because they haven't specified it, they might be a bit more lenient, but I would advise you that you always simplify as much as possible. So 2 over 4. 2 is half of 4, right? So this is actually, because they can both be divided by 2, there we go. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So you end up with a y equals to 1/2 x plus 5/4. 5/4 can't be simplified any further. So now you have it, it's in the form of y equals to mx plus c, where your m is 1/2 and your c is 5/4. Okay, all right, so let's move on. Okay, I hope that was understandable enough. I would actually take the time to go back, rewatch it, then try and read it on your own, try and understand it, then write things always on a clean piece of paper and try it again. And then check not only your answer, but your process of how you went about it. Was it fully correct? Did you simplify? Were you correct when it came to your signs and the flipping and all of that? Okay. All right. So moving on to our diagnostic test. This is the moment where you pause this video. I continue solving, and then when you're ready and you've checked your answer, you can click to continue the video so you can see the answer. Okay. Good luck. Take your time. Don't rush. All right. See you soon. Okay, we've reached the end, and your final equation that's in the form of y equals to mx will be y equals to 4/5 x minus 2, where m would be 4/5 and your c would be minus 2. Okay, if with the previous one you didn't get it correct, I would actually advise you to stop this video, rewind it, watch it again how it was solved, try and understand it, then again solve it again. Alright, oops, sorry about that. Okay, if you're okay with that, pause this video, start this new one, and good luck. I'll see you soon. Okay, so if you've reached the end of this video, the final answer is y equals to 3/4 times x plus 2, where m is 3/4 and your c is a 2. Okay, and now we've reached the end of this. Let me know how it went. Was it difficult? Always remember, before you say it's immediately difficult, it doesn't mean that when you see something new that you have to get it from the first go. Go back, rewatch it, take your time, try and understand it, then try it again on a clean piece of paper and see how you went. Okay, and if you want more examples, well, I'll be more than happy to give you some. Alright, see you in the next video, part 2.